This is Jason's Electronic Repair. I'm Jason. Welcome to my ER. How's everyone doing today? Today we're going to be testing out some new tweezers I got. They are super fine point. They're tiny, and I have on the microscope here a SOP chip. So we're going to solder this on. We're going to be using my FM203 with the FM2032 micro pencil with a 0.6 millimeter chisel tip. So as you can see, these are very fine tweezers. I'm still getting used to them. I tried them out a little bit. They seem to work pretty good. I got two pairs. I got this tiny pair here that's kind of angled, so it's got like a swoop to it, curve, and then I have a straight pair here. So I got both those, and then this is my old tweezers here. You see, they're a lot larger, and they make gripping. I mean, they still grip the chip good, but trying to line things up. I still will be using these. These are forged tweezers. As you can see, they're not perfectly even on both tips, but they are very good tweezers. These are for scale modeling. For larger components, they work pretty good. So we're gonna mess around. We're gonna put this chip down, then we're gonna put a 555 timer down. I believe this is a decades counter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these curved tweezers here, and I'm gonna use this to manipulate the part here as I solder it down. So I am going to get my micro pencil out here, and I'm going to untangle the cord. I'm going to clean the tip, and I'm going to get me some solder. Now, what I'm going to do a little different, actually. I'm not going to use stick solder. I'm going to get me my, that's flux. I have a little tub of solder paste here, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on some Kapton tape. So I'm going to get me a little piece of Kapton tape here to dip my pencil in. So I'm going to get me a little piece of Kapton tape, and I'm going to put a little bit onto this piece of Kapton tape on my mat. So I'm going to put this on my map here. Put it where I won't put my hand in it. Put that there. And I'm going to take a little bit out of here and smear it on my Kapton tape. I'm going to clean this applicator. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of flux for this. I'm going to use some Kingbo RMA 218. And I'm going to just tack this back leg down here. This back corner leg here. Add a little bit of flux there. And then I'm going to come in with my micro pencil, and I'm going to dip it into the solder. I'm going to hold this chip down. I'm going to move it around a lot because that's how it's going to roll apparently. And I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to touch that leg. And I messed that all up. I have a new microscope coming. All right, so I got that tacked on there. I'm going to come over here to the other side of it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of flux to it. Just a little bit of flux. And I'm going to hold that chip in alignment as I tack the other leg here. So I'm going to push that over there a little bit. Yeah, see, that's not. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tack this down. This is extremely uneven here. All right, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of solder to all these pins here. I think a microscope with depth perception is going to be super handy. Okay, this looks really bad, and I'm going to get it with hot air here in a bit. So I definitely think having a microscope with a little bit of depth perception is going to go a long way. So, all right. So I got solder on there. It's not as pretty as I was hoping it would be. I'm going to flood it with flux. Flood it with flux there. Turn on my hot air because I didn't turn it on. Set the temperature to 480. 480, and then I'll put my airflow down to 40 out of 120. I'm going to come in here with my hot air, my tweezers in my other hand. I'm going to slowly warm up the board around it. Turn up my fume extraction. So this is starting to flow. Now I'm going to nudge this over here. Okay, so that is too far that way now. There we go. That kind of knocked into place. Put my there, and I'm just going to touch up these pads, add a little bit more flux. A little bit more solder things. I am butchering this, and this is not going as how I wanted it to go. over this way with it. I did a video recently of me doing one of these chips and didn't have near as much problem as I am here with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a larger iron, add more flux, come in with my larger iron here, and drag solder this. Clean that off. So the micro pencil was just a little bit too small, couldn't keep up. So now we have that all taken care of. So there's that chip. Now I'm going to come over here to this chip here, and I am going to add some solder to all these pads, and we're going to try to flow it down with hot air. So, again, the micro pencil. A little too much on there, but that's okay. I'm going to add my Kingbow flux here, RMA 218. This is a no clean flux that needs to be cleaned afterwards. Place my chip down, the orientation's right, and then I'm going to slowly warm up the board with my hot air. Slowly heating up the board. Waiting for the solder to flow. Banging around. All right. And then I'm just going to touch that up with the other iron, the big iron here. I normally don't struggle this much. This is why I like to practice a little bit each day, just to get my skills in line before I actually work on a board. There we go. So that's all cleaned up and ready to go. Sorry the lighting wasn't great on that. So I'm going to clean up the board, and then I'm going to come and we're going to test these tweezers on some 0805s. I guess I can hold up on cleaning the board. So I am going to add some solder to each side of these here. This side here. Not too much there. You get some depth perception with this scope on an angle, but I think a new scope like the M scope would do a better job. So now I'm going to rotate this like so. We're going to open up these 0805 components here. slowly upgrading my gear to start doing full-time repairs. I got pushed back a little bit because of some funding issues, but we will get there. So I've been going 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to do 30 minutes and then call it. So I'm gonna come in here with my resistor, with these tweezers, holding them in the wrong position of my hand. So this is these curved ones. And that one. So let's do another one like that. Okay. Let's try the straight tweezers. See if that's any better. Okay. These will all get straightened up. That one's a little bit further out than I would like. Now, what I originally got these tweezers for was holding down stencils. And with these shorter tweezers here, I was burning my hand with the hot air. But here is my tweezers here. Definitely fumbling with it with a little bit more. So having the smaller tweezers does make a difference. So these are scale model tweezers. I also have some small Hacko tweezers here that we can compare them to. So these are my itty bitty Hacko tweezers. So they don't have much of an open span on them, but let's see how they do. Not too bad with the Hackos. Let's try and see how it is turning this component around. I guess it also depends on how you hold the tweezers. Okay, so I need to add a little bit more solder to this one here. There we go. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add solder to all of these. On this side using the micro pencil. There we go. All right, so now we're going to flood this area with flux. Here we're going to flood it with the Kingbo RMA 218. And we're going to watch all these dance into place here. So we're going to get this all nice and pretty. I'm going to use the straight tweezers for this one. See if any of them need to be teased into place. I'm going to slowly warm up the board here. Slowly warm up the board. Then we could just shoot down the line of all of the components. So these should start to flow. I'm just going to get my tweezers in there to nudge them if they need it. Okay. Come over here. I knocked one out of alignment. All right, so not as nice as I would like it. It could be that flux. I normally use chip quick flux, but if we look at them on an angle here, some of them are sticking up a little bit. But I'm not going to sweat it too much. So mainly this was to try out these tweezers. These tweezers are on Amazon. They're not bad. Compared to the Hacko, if we come over here, we compare them to the Hacko here. These are a lot smaller, and the Hacko ones are tiny. These are nice tweezers, but if you look at the length difference here, if I put the tip up here, I have an extra almost 2 inches on this, so I can hold down, or I had planned on holding down a stencil, but these may bend, and I don't want to subject them to that, so I might have to look elsewhere for a pair of tweezers to do that. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.